Penguin Random House Audio presents Aristotle's Guide to Self-Persuasion, How Ancient Rhetoric, Taylor Swift, and Your Own Soul Can Help You Change Your Life. This is the author, J. Heinrichs. To Vian, and to her life's argument from strength. Introduction. Leave the rut. The useful art of soul bending. Wish is a form of appetite. Aristotle on the Soul. This book got its start some years ago when I attempted to turn my life around with Rhetoric, the art of persuasion. To be honest, my wife Dorothy told me to. She's very smart and I do everything she says, so tapping the wisdom of Aristotle and other sages, I began an ambitious experiment in self-persuasion. The art itself began in the most social of ways when a bevy of ancient consultants in Greece got rich by helping people win lawsuits and rule the masses through the sheer power of words. These itinerant experts deftly branded themselves the wise ones, sophists. One of them, a massively popular Greek orator exquisitely named Gorgias, made so much money speaking and teaching rhetoric that he allegedly ordered a solid gold statue of himself. It was as if Taylor Swift supplemented her enormous concert revenues by teaching songwriting and then erected a gold statue of herself. Over the centuries, rhetoric went on to inspire democracies, lubricate business deals, and build empires. It empowered the likes of Lincoln and Gandhi and MLK. The American founders used their common schooling in rhetoric to help throw off the yoke of empire and launch a republic. Shakespeare applied the knowledge of rhetoric he acquired at the Stratford Grammar School to do, well, Shakespeare. One of the original liberal arts, rhetoric is partly responsible for what we know as Western civilization. Rhetoric does more than win friends and influence people. The sophists claimed it can bewitch an audience with the practice of psychagogia, or soul-moving. The ancient Romans more aptly called it soul-bending. The gorgeous Greek Gorgias credited rhetoric with moving the soul of beautiful Helen, along with her body, all the way to Troy, launching those 1,000 ships and sparking the Trojan War. Gorgias played her defense attorney in a mock trial, blaming rhetoric for drugging her. Some years ago, my wife became weirdly convinced that rhetoric's power could help me personally. Dorothy is the kind of dawn-enabled lark who springs out of bed with a cheerful, "Good morning, what are your plans for the day?" And I love her anyway. I, on the other hand, am by nature the kind of geezer we used to make fun of, resenting the state of the world and kids these days. What's more, back then, I was suffering from an ailment called snapping hip syndrome, which begins with a debilitating tightening up of the muscles. You could say the same thing was going on with the rest of me. In my late 50s, I had gotten old beyond my years, drinking too much and growing nostalgic for the good old days when I was an enthusiastic outdoorsman. Worst of all, I was losing my taste for life. I was truly stuck. A relentless booster, Dorothy listed some of the triumphs that had come from my work with the art of rhetoric, helping pediatricians get children vaccinated, enabling NASA to coax mothballed MX missiles from the Pentagon, showing corporations how to recover from their own screw-ups. She leaned in and whispered ecstatically, "And you once got thousands of publishing executives to lick each other." This was not entirely accurate. I had asked 2,000 executives to lick each other. It was in the London Palladium during a tour for my book, How to Argue with a Cat. The stage lights were bright, and I couldn't see the audience, but I did get them to purr. Still, Dorothy believed that my work on the ancient art lacked one helpful angle. "Have you thought of using the tools on yourself?" I shook my head. It was true that whole empowering philosophies, Stoicism and Epicureanism, among others, had been built from the foundations of rhetoric. But rhetoric requires an audience. It stands to reason. Besides, persuasion works best when it disguises itself. No one likes to be manipulated. What kind of persuasion succeeds when both manipulator and manipulatee are the same person? It would be like a magician revealing his fakery during the performance. Here's the woman's torso and the box that doesn't really cut her in half. Dorothy ignored my objections. What have you got to lose? With frequent nudging by my wife, I did a deep dive into Aristotle, poring over works that I had passed by in my previous rhetorical research, and eureka! Self-persuasion has an audience after all. It's not you exactly, not the you who scarfs potato chips and binge-watches streaming shows. It's your very own soul. I don't necessarily mean the immortal spirit we hear about in churches and temples, but rather Aristotle's brilliantly distinct concept of a soul. In his view, your soul is a superior version of yourself, one that reflects your truest character and reason for being. Your Aristotelian soul is your youest you, the Michael Jackson man in the mirror. It can become your audience, enabling you to bend it, as the ancients like to say. By directing rhetorical devices at this audience, you could master another language, change careers, or simply overcome a fear of heights. The process makes you more resilient, better at dealing with change, and more skilled at growing old with grace. Most of all, rhetorical soul bending offers agency, the power to change your character from victim to protagonist, allowing you to take control of your brain and your circumstances. It lets you be the boss of you. How can an art created by dead white men be relevant today? The ancients knew that while cultures change, human nature remains the same. You'll find the lessons of persuasion woven through politics, literature, philosophy, and even popular culture, and many of its teachers appear in this book. Aristotle, Socrates, Benjamin Franklin, Hedy Lamarr, Muhammad Ali, P.T. Barnum, Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski, and of course Taylor Swift will help illustrate the concepts. Their wisdom literally got me off the couch. Count the ways. Obviously, you don't need a particular goal to practice the art of rhetoric on yourself. As far as we know, Aristotle never assigned himself any specific goals. Get tutoring job, teach young prince how to conquer world. Still, a good project offers a chance to experiment, not just with the tools, but with yourself. Plus, if friends notice a change in you, imagine the frisson you can experience when you tell them your success has something to do with the Aristotelian concept of the soul. Here are a few examples of where this book might take you. Your first project may be to dream up a specific goal of your very own, one that best suits your yearning soul. Skip to Chapter 3 for rhetorical inspiration. Lose weight. In attempting any objective, we need to know the frame, ensuring that we firmly grasp the meaning of the terms. What exactly does losing weight mean to you? While we're pondering the definition of our issue, we might as well throw in a logical analysis, assessing the goal with an ancient system that inspired the scientific method. Before we start starving ourselves, though, we want to get in touch with our soul, which you'll meet in the next chapter. If all this framing and assessing seem like a pain, put it this way: the time you spend on thinking is a hiatus from all that diet and exercise. Learn a new skill. Let's say you want to play the guitar. You do some online research, buy the instrument, and schedule lessons. What else do you need to do? How much persuasion does it take to do something you have always wanted to do? Well, obviously, the problem is not playing the guitar. It's practicing the guitar. This is true for any new skill, learning a language, taking up fly fishing, or mastering haute cuisine. The idea sounds brilliant until it comes to finding an hour a day and then going through the necessary repetitive motions, bleeding fingers, and tedium. A variety of tools in this book will give you the motivation to keep going. Give a speech. This ambition is not at all impressive if you are born a natural ham, free of any performance anxiety. Just write a good text and ideally memorize it. For the rest of us, though, we need to deal with our fear. Start with a mindset or frame in rhetoric that redefines the occasion as something less scary. It's a toast, not a State of the Union address. You will master redefinition in Chapter 7. Become wittier. The ability to speak or
Sample complete. Ready to continue?